Hi guys, welcome back. We're continuing to take a look at some basic tools in Photoshop and how to use those. If you missed our last tutorial, we looked at a few different tools. We started with the Move tool, then looked at the Zoom tool, and also the Free Transform tool. If you missed that tutorial, go ahead and go back and take a look at that one first. What we want to work on today is getting rid of this background. We have this nice blue background, but really what we want to focus on is just the picture of this bird. Removing the background will allow us to cut out the picture of the bird. We could add it to a new picture. We could edit it a little bit easier by having the background removed. So we want to remove the background. A good practice to get into is to always create a duplicate copy of the layer, just so that we're not changing our original picture. To do this, we can go up to the top and hit edit, we can go up to the top and hit layer, and then hit duplicate layer, or on your keyboard you can hit Command J. You'll see that when I do that, it now has added a new layer to my layers panel, and I can now go ahead and edit this layer without really worrying about what's going to happen to my background layer. The first thing that we want to do is we want to use the tool that's called the Quick Selection tool. The way this works, you'll see that I've got a few different options up here. It starts with the Quick Selection tool with the plus sign selected. And that's the one that I want to use first. You also notice that there's a minus sign here, which we'll talk about in a second as well. So the way the Quick Selection tool works is it's going to, as I kind of just scroll my mouse through, it's going to go through and it's going to pick up anything that's going to kind of match that same area that I selected. That's what makes this picture of the bird really nice to, as a way to use, is that it's going to pick up that area going all the way around the picture of the bird, basically in 3 clicks of my mouse. You'll see now that I've got this dotted line, what we sometimes call the marching ants, going around the picture of my bird and also around the outline of my picture. Once I have that, I know that what that means is that this blue area is the area that's selected. Having this outside layer lets me know, or the outside marching ants lets me know that that is the area that's selected. Once I have that, I can come down and just hit delete on my keyboard. And initially it looks like nothing happened, but if I go over and I look at my layer, I see that I've got something changed over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide my background layer. And when I do that, you'll see that my background has been removed. Now, just a quick note, anytime you see these gray and white checkered box background, what that means is that this background is actually transparent. So if I was to save this picture, the only thing that would show up is the picture of this bird. The rest of this gray and white background is actually just going to be transparent. Before I cut this out, I just want to make a quick note about how this tool works a little bit more in depth. If I was to zoom in, I might notice that my Quick Selection tool didn't do necessarily a great job. For the most part, it did really well, but maybe not as well as I might really want it to. One of the things I can do is I can click on this drop down arrow next to my brush here, and I can choose a smaller brush size, maybe one that I can get in pretty close with. Then I'm going to make sure that my plus button is selected, and I want to add I'm going to make sure my minus button is selected, and I'm going to take away this part of the selection. I don't want it to cut that part out, so I can try to get in and be a little bit more precise. Again, I'm not going to necessarily always be able to do great. If I picked up a little bit more of the blue, then I can come back and I can kind of try to be a little bit more precise if I want to really get really granular with it. So that's the way this tool works. I can come in and I can select certain areas. I'm going to deselect some of this as well, just so that it's not cutting off parts of the wing, so that it will make it be a little bit cleaner as I go in and as I delete my background. Okay, so that's the Quick Selection tool. That's the way the quick selection tool works and how you'll use that. Right. I'm going to actually deselect all of this, and I'm going to show you another tool then as well. This tool, if you actually click and hold down, and anytime you see that a tool has this little arrow in the bottom right hand corner of it, that means that there's a tool hidden behind it. So if I click and hold down on it, I see that I also have the option to use the magic wand. Now this one tries to be a little bit even more, I don't know, precise, but or maybe just takes bigger selections. But I can just click once on that blue, and now what it's going to do is it's going to basically take anything that's that same blue color. This one actually did, as I go in and I zoom in, this one actually maybe even did a little bit better job because it went around and it selected just that blue color and made it so that it just that blue color was selected. Again, I can now go in, I can delete my background, and there we go. I've deleted the background out of there. Okay. So that's the magic wand tool. And then the other tool that we can use, if I deselect this again real quick, is just your basic eraser. And so the eraser is over here. When I erase this, I have a transparent background, is what I set it when I opened up this picture. And I could go through and just erase out this. Sometimes, again, this is beneficial just for making small edits. You probably wouldn't want to go through and erase out, the whole background for a picture, but if you wanted to really get in and just kind of make really fine changes to it, you could go in and zoom in. I could also, I'm going to change my brush size here, maybe make it a little bit smaller so I can have a little bit more fine-grained control of what it is I'm erasing as I go through and do that. Okay, so the eraser tool is another option that you have that you can use to erase the background or erase really any parts of it, because I could go through and I could erase a section of my bird's wing if I'm not careful. That's why the eraser tool is maybe not a tool that you're going to want to use for large selections of it, but for basic edits, more for smaller selections, might be a good tool to use. Might be a good tool to use in combination with the the quick selection or the magic wand tool that will allow you to select a bigger area at one time and delete out a bigger area, and then go back with your eraser and delete out another part of the background that maybe those ones did not pick up. Okay, thanks for watching. Continue working on that then as well.